the biggest difficulty is with people who assume, like I said earlier, they just assume for me and they assume that I'm female for my voice and my height. Some people, they do accept that I'm male, but they get a little bit invasive. They'll be like asking for my real name or if I'm really a boy. So it gets tiring.
Hi, I'm Yvanne and welcome to At the Backdoor, where we discuss controversial, taboo, and socially relevant topics. Today, we'll discuss about being transgender, and we are joined by a special guest, my high school classmate, actually, Dan. So, can you please
Hi.
introduce yourself first to us?
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm Jen, and uh, yeah, I guess I mean I am. I identify as a trans male, but I haven't had any operation or taken any like anything to change my hormones. So I'm still pretty much cis, but I don't identify as cis. Yeah.
Madaming confusion about being transgender. So, can you please define it first for us?
Oh yeah, okay. So basically, ang definition lang talaga ng transgender is just a person whose gender identity differs or hindi tugma sa ang uh, kung anong part yung nakuha nila nung pinanganak sila. So the identity differs from their sex, their body part. So the person who identifies you can shorten it to trans, and people who were assigned male at birth but are now identifying as female, they can be trans female or trans women. And yung ano naman, yung mga assigned female at birth but now identify as male, they are trans male or trans men. So basically, basta yun nga, yung hindi tugma sa parte ng katawan na pinanganak ka. Pero yung mga nag-identify sa assigned gender mo or kung ano yung assigned sex mo, you are just you can also just identify as cisgender. That's what I mentioned a while ago.
So, what's the difference between sexuality and gender?
Ayun. Ang common misconception lagi is that gender non-conforming people or yung mga hindi cisgender na sinabi ko kanina, maraming sa tingin nila na same lang din yung sexuality nila or sexual orientation na katulad ng mga cisgender. So basically sa tingin nila pag trans male ka, tibu ka lang ganun. But we need to remember that gender is about your own identity. It's like who you are as a person, and yung sexuality mo or sexual orientation is who you prefer as for a partner, your preference in a partner. Kaya nakakainis rin kasi like in sa Philippines, di ba? Ginawang general term na lang yung tomboy, tibo to refer to lesbians, when the word tomboy itself, diba, is just to basically describe a girl who is more masculine in appearance. Pero it doesn't always mean that they are a lesbian. At appearance lang naman yun. So, kaya dapat these labels, yung sexuality mo at yung gender mo, it should come from the person. Sa sino talaga sila, sa kanila manggagaling. And I don't think it's anyone's right to just label someone, diba? It should always be coming from them. And now trans people, they can also have a different orientation from what you may think. So may mga straight na trans men, meaning na they are men who only like the opposite gender, so women, ganon. And there are gay trans men and gay trans women who only like the same gender. So may mga gay trans men that still only date maybe male cis men or also trans men, ganon. Basta yung identity lang din nila Ganon.
Mm. When I want to know someone's identity, like how can I ask them?
I think the only way that you might offend someone is yung nag-assume ka before ka pa magtanong. Yung, diba, tibo ka
Mm.
ba? Or bakla ka ba? Ganon. Don't ever do that to someone. I think the best way to ask is, you can always ask, what pronouns should I use for you? What pronouns? You can ask if, should I use he, she, they? So yun, that's a very good way to start with anyone. And you can always ask this for cis people then, para sure. Tapos, or you can also just be straightforward if you're maybe kung close na kayo, or it's not, it's not invasive na bigla-bigla ka nalang magtatanong. And you can say maybe, if you don't mind me asking, can I know what gender you identify as? Ganon.
So can we talk about muna yung story mo, like how did you know that you were trans? What was your journey like?
Oh yeah, okay. Thank you for asking. I think, no, I always questioned my gender ever since I was young. And I vividly remember wondering why I wasn't born male. And it was growing up, it was very conflicting because I wasn't entirely a tomboy. I very much enjoyed, feminine things, and I enjoy both masculine and feminine things. So parang sobrang naguluhan din ako. So, and I even got to the point of being very like hyper feminine, and I was very into makeup and everything. But it was just like a mask. And in high school, I don't know if you knew this, but um, in high school, I already started identifying as like gender fluid, meaning I wasn't just conforming to a single gender. Like you can refer to me as him, he, or I wouldn't mind. And I already had short hair in high school, diba? And
Mm-mm.
cosplaying, it was the main outlet for me to be able to express that gender. And I found myself na mas na-enjoy ko talaga like dressing up as male characters. And yung mga friends ko din sa cosplay, I let people address me with he, him pronouns. And uh, I actually, like, it always made me happy whenever someone did that. And yun, uh, but I was still identifying female in my household, so it was quite conflicting and confusing to me. Tapos like when I was like even after high school, I was even if parang yung alam mo yun nagka-glow up na ganun, I was still like super insecure with my appearance, and I thought that my eyebrows were too thick, so I always shaved my eyebrows. Tapos I even shaved like half of it kasi I didn't like how it was naturally shaped, so that I can just draw it on para magmukhang like more feminine. And I wore makeup because I felt like I needed to fit into a standard for being a girl. And yeah, and every time like I look in the mirror, I just always found something was wrong, something was like just off with my body, even though hindi naman ano it was like I didn't think that I was ugly, it just felt wrong. And I think when I was around 19 or 20, I was already having thoughts, was like parang mas nare-realize ko na this body feels weird. And but I was afraid to identify as like just strictly male. And I felt na parang that would be going too far. I feel like I also felt like I was betraying my femininity somehow. So I had some guilt about that too. And then around like around maybe when I was around that time when I was 19 or 20, I also cut off my hair. I had very long hair, and it was even pink. So yun, I cut off everything. Tapos And I think that was when it like clicked, and I felt a lot better with myself when I cut my hair. And then I also started dressing more masculine whenever I go out. But but at the time, I was still dating a cis man, so I was in a long term relationship with a cis man, and we did talk about this na nasabi ko rin naman, and but I really couldn't find myself staying with him knowing that he's a straight man. So uh, I remember he said that he could try, but para sa akin parang I didn't want to ask that of someone. So, ayun, on other days, I will be dressing masculine. I would just try to be like myself and try to feel better. But when we go out with my boyfriend at the time, I sometimes even wear a wig just to have longer hair and it wasn't exactly for him. It was I wasn't wearing a wig for him, but it was more like for me to feel like we were a normal couple, like parang basically being feminine kind of just felt like a costume for me, and it just felt the most uncomfortable costume at that. So I look at myself that as even if I see myself as like as pretty or something and I'm happy with what I can see, it just didn't feel like me. It didn't feel like who I was, and it really just feels like I am wearing a costume. Tas yun. And then when I decided that I really just want to identify as male, uh, it felt like like before that, it felt like I was only identifying as female para lang to cater to others, whether it was my partner or my family. So when I did realize, I felt like for the first time I've chosen something that's fully for myself. And I found more things to love about my body and my personality. And yeah, and when people also started referring to me as male, it brought me so much happiness. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing your story.
Yeah, thank
Um,
you.
what are your struggles on being a transgender, lalo na dito sa
Mm,
Pilipinas, and
yeah.
you are in a female-dominated fan base?
Oh yeah, yeah. So I'm a big fan of BTS, and so I mean, the fandom is diverse, but a majority are always like women. Tapos the biggest difficulty is with people who assume, like I said earlier, they just assume for me, and they assume that I'm female for my voice and my height. So I actually do YouTube too, but like lately I haven't been feeling confident enough because I don't like how my voice is like it gives it away, like something like that to other people. So um and how if some people they do accept that I'm male, but they get a little bit invasive. They'll be like asking for my real name or if I'm really a boy. So it gets tiring, and that like also being in a more female dominated environment, and they're also heterosexual females. It's quite difficult because they think that being straight or being interested in just girls is like yung default assumption lagi. So I mean, I don't really mind that people don't know my sexuality, but just yung pag naririnig mo lang na may girlfriend ka na ba, like I mean, I'm not only just interested in girls and ganon. I mean, I think people should just try to keep things gender neutral, but I don't really mind that. What I'm more tired of is yung ano nga, yung pag-assume and yung like being invasive or asking if I'm real, ganon. I always have to try to prove myself. Yeah.
I want to talk about transphobia since we're talking about this now.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to talk about my own personal struggles. Kasi
Oh, yeah.
I'm becoming more aware that I do have like transphobic thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And I know na sobrang toxic nun and I have to work on it. And I am. And
That's
ang
good.
Hmm?
Oh, it's good at least that you're acknowledging it. Tapos, you're trying. That's what matters, I think, in the end, anyway. As long as you're
Yeah.
trying, yeah.
Yeah. So when I see trans people, if they don't look passing,
Yeah, passing, yes.
yeah, I would don't see them as equals. Lalo na pag female.
Mm.
And I know though that's so fucking toxic.
Okay,
Pero
yeah.
I think this conversation dapat mas madami pang conversation about this, like
Yeah,
honest
that's true.
conversations about this. So I'm talking about it now. And I think my transphobia stems from my insecurity as a female, as a
Mm.
woman, kasi
Mhm.
na-challenge yung womanhood ko.
Ah,
Kasi
yeah, I understand.
yeah, because I think that as a woman, I have to be valid. I'm going to be valid if I'm sexually attractive sa men.
Oh, yeah.
So pag hindi ako nasa ganung standard or pag hindi nasa ganung standard yung mga ibang tao, gina-judge ko na sila. And yeah, I'm working on that.
It's okay as long as yun nga, buti na lang aware ka nga dun sa that kind of behavior. Tapos tinatry mo talaga. Like, I mean, kahit yan like as little of an effort as already knowing that that's bad is already good enough. Kasi may mga ibang tao talaga na hindi nila may isip na mali or like sa tingin nila tama pa rin yun to think other people are smaller than them. Ganun.
And napapansin ko sa mga tao, like they would support the LGBT, yeah, they would post about it, but yung sarili nilang maliliit na transphobia, they don't work on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so
Yeah.
lumalabas siya in some ways that would
Yeah,
affect you
microaggression.
guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So we really have to work on that.
true.
And I also realized by working on my transphobia, I would also be a better advocate as a feminist sa mga cis men naman.
Oh, I think yun nga eh. Uh, what I don't understand is the people who don't try to accept LGBTQ or yung Soji bill, for example, is that hindi nila naintindihan na this also involves them. Like,
Yeah.
diba, yung people think yung Soji bill is just for marriage equality. No, it's the right to your safety. It's the right to like to have your documents, ganun. And yun, hindi nila nare-realize na this is beneficial for everyone. It's not giving LGBTQ people a big benefit. They're just giving them basic rights. So yun yan, that's what's difficult with people who don't try to understand it.
Yeah. They think na something is going to be taken away from them.
Oo, yun, exactly. Yun nga. Akala nila yun nga, like they will take something away from them tapos ibibigay sa mga like the LGBTQ community. So I don't understand what's not making sense for them about this. Pero feeling ko din naman they're not even trying to understand. That's what I was saying earlier na kung ayaw talaga nila, hindi din talaga natin sila mababago yung isip nila gano'n.
Mm-mm. I think it's the same for a lot of people. Yung sinabi ko na yung sa akin, it's stemming from my insecurity sa femininity ko. So I think ganun din sa iba, like yung sa masculinity ng mga ibang cis men na challenge din. How does it affect your career being a transgender person?
Actually, I have never attempted to tell my employer or asked if I can have others adjust to my identity because every day I meet new people at my work. So I don't really want to have to go through explaining everything every day. So right now, I can still live with it. So I just don't want the complication right now until na parang mas passing pa ako so I don't really have to prove myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you're pre-op, diba?
Yeah, yeah.
Yung common misconception din, and I thought this din dati, na you have to transition like physically to
Yeah, I
be
thought
a
so too.
valid trans man, to be a valid man.
Yeah.
Can you expound that na like you don't have to look passing?
Yeah. Uh, I also thought the same way too. Yun nga yung sabi ko na parang I was afraid to identify as male because I felt like that was going too far. Tapos, yun nga, parang, yun din, I was scared to identify as male because I felt like hindi ako mabebelong sa like other trans men kasi the ones that I've seen like on YouTube, it was hard because yung mga napapanood ko sa YouTube or even some media, sa TV shows, ganun, they have already fully transitioned or at least nag-hormones na sila, nag-hormones na sila so they've already their body has already changed. But yun nga, I think since it is a gender identity and it's an identity uh, you can identify as one if that's what you really feel like or para sa akin kasi uh what's difficult din sa among trans community like you said may transphobia pa rin sa trans community some some fully transitioned people they think if you're not di ba gender is a spectrum ganun so there
Yeah.
are people who are non-binary that parang they're neither male or female they just exist they're just there and yun nga so para ding may pagka kind of like close-mindedness na parang sa mga cisgender then na if they're not passing like you said uh they won't see them as valid trans people but yun nga you need to consider that not everyone has access to surgery to hormones and even now actually I've tried to do my research, pero I still don't have like a clear idea or a clear plan for myself. Like I haven't thought about it yet. Like I haven't done a whole plan for this. So yun nga, it's not everybody can just fully transition right away. So the least you can do is just be more accepting and at the same time you don't people shouldn't even have to prove themselves to other people like if you're if you're a doctor you don't ask someone for their you don't always ask someone for their certificate you go to see a doctor because you already know they are one and if you already know someone is trans you don't try to get their birth certificate or try to see a validate like a valid IV just for them to prove themselves. So yun nga mahirap and I wish na at least like name changing or at least name changing could be easier but yeah like I said it really has to be it has to come from us being considerate yung ano lang consideration para sa ibang tao lang talaga na hindi mo naman kailangan ano I mean, you don't have to change your whole perception. Like, hindi mo naman kailangan maging full LGBTQ ally. Ano lang naman, you just need to respect people. Just say, and if someone says na, oh, I'm a trans man or I would like to be identified as he or him, you can just say, oh, okay, and then make that a habit to never call them a different pronoun. It can be just as simple as that.
Yeah, and there are trans women who choose not to get rid of their
Yeah,
penises,
yeah.
diba? And they're still valid.
Yeah, I think yun nga like what you said earlier, that was a very good point na you think that you have to be you have to look good for the male gaze. And we need to erase that kind of mindset na yung standard kasi natin nga, even though we hate to admit it, but it's deeply just rooted to cater to the male gaze. Kaya yun nga, kaya ganun, kahit nag-identify pa ako kahit nag-identify na ako as a male, I still felt like I had the need to conform and try to look feminine para lang sa ibang tao na para hindi na lang ako questionin, ganun. Yeah, and I feel like some people, um, some trans people don't try to fully transition for their own safety na din kasi nga it's a lot of us are faced with violence as soon as people find out or something ganon.
Okay, let's end there and we'll continue this discussion on the part 2 of this video. So if you guys enjoy that video, if you learned something new and you want to watch the second video, please click down below and the link will be down there. So watch the next video. See you guys.